all for coming, and happy International Women's Day, guys. Thank you for choosing to spend it with Female Magic. I am very, very, very grateful. And I'm amazed how many people came on time. So we will be speaking for a little bit, and then there will be a time at the end for Q&A and stuff like that. But just like a brief lowdown of the day, we have this bit, and then we will have a little bit of a break. If anyone wants more food, we have a lot of food courtesy of Lorenz. But yeah, and then we will have the vision board workshop, which I'm really excited for. If you've brought your own stuff, great. If not, we have lots of stuff. But we'll talk about that bit after. We'll guide you through it if you need any help. But yeah, are we all ready, Bailey? Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Happy International Women's Day again. So, would you like to introduce yourselves? I'll start with you, Molly.
I'll start. So, I'm Molly, guys, and I'm a mindset coach, and I manage the Wellbeing for around 900 members of staff in a company. As well as being a mind coach, I'm also a hypnotherapist, and I also have my own business called No Limit. I do events once a month, which every month I change the topic, and it's all around mindset. So I've done events such as the subconscious mind, anxiety, habits, and my next event that I'll be holding will be on weight loss, which will be on the 27th of March.
Yes.
Hi guys, I'm Simi Kanda, and I'm a fashion stylist photographer, currently in my last year of uni, so it's kind of hectic, but so I do like music videos. I work at London Fashion Week for like catwalks and backstage, and I work with brands and designers as well.
Oh, hi guys, I'm just a makeup artist.
I
want to go to uni. That's it.
What do you do at uni, Matchuela?
Fashion marketing and production. It's all right.
Okay, let me just carry that on. Matchuela is a very talented makeup artist. She did my makeup today. She did my hair today. She's one of the best. I mean, I'm probably being biased, but one of the best, or the best in Leeds. Yes. So what I want to talk about first is the growth side of things, because I think before you ever feel like you become successful, you have to go through the hardships and whatnot, the really low downs. So how would you guys, or what would you guys say your most hardest and challenging thing has been so far? And that's in regards to, I guess, finding your own way career-wise.
Shall I go?
Yeah. For me, I would say one of the most difficult things I have found is probably balance. When you have so many visions and goals. Sorry, guys. I have a cold and I had to cough. I think when you have visions and goals and there's so much that's in your mind, you have all these ideas and dreams, but you want to bring them to fulfillment, sometimes it can be difficult to have the right work-life balance and home life. I have a son who's 7 years old, and sometimes it's difficult to be a mum as well as have a career, as well as bring all these dreams into fruition. So for me, I would say balance is probably the most difficult thing I've found in having my own business and becoming successful.
For me, I think because I'm like Punjabi Indian, so like in my culture it's like seen bad to do all these creative things.
Really?
Yeah, so I feel like as soon as I said to my parents like I wanted to do fashion and photography, they were okay with it, but they didn't get it because they expected me to do something like be a lawyer or a doctor or something, and I was like, nah, that's not me, like that is not me, like I ain't doing that shit, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I want to represent more Asian girls and boys, like to actually do what they want, because like if I can do it, they can do it. And like I started off like just doing street style in London when Fashion Week was on, and now I'm like shooting for like amazing brands backstage and with some magazines as well. So I feel like if you love something and you've got passion to do it, just go for it, and like your family will understand. And like being an Indian girl is very, very hard, and like even female as well, because when I'm at shows like in London Fashion Week, it's all male dominated, and like I'm the only girl in the cockpit. I'm like, bruh, this is mad. Like, and I'm just like, but then it's kind of funny as well because they're like, oh, just let her in. Like, I'm like, okay, then I'm at the front. Come on, I get my shots and that. So it's like, yeah, you get some benefits, you get some.
I was gonna say,
parts.
like, would you say because of your race and being a female, do you ever have closed doors?
Yeah, but I feel like if you know what you're doing, then you can just, it doesn't really matter. Like, you can do what you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I think it is hard, but you do have to obviously have the passion and the momentum to push through. Like you said, I think it's good that I guess it is good that you didn't listen to your parents. I don't want them. But do you know what I mean? Because I guess our parents' generation they don't always get it as a creative, because I feel like obviously in their eyes it's not like an academic thing. So in their eyes you can't always like make it, or you can't be successful from it.
But for a lot of, especially like you say, cultural, where you're expected to live your life a certain way, be married by a certain age, have succeeded by a certain age. I think it's very difficult because as children, we're so influenced by our parents, our surroundings. Before the age of 7, children only learn by observation. So whatever a child experiences before the age of 7, it becomes a part of who they are as an adult. So sometimes we think our paths are what we're meant to be doing because of where we've come from and how our parents have conditioned us. But we may have desires and dreams and we think, no, that couldn't be me, because in my life this is normal. Being a solicitor, being a barrister, you know, like you say, in some cultures I should be a doctor. This is what I should do because this is where I come from. But I think we have parents and we come through our parents, but we don't come from our parents. We come from a higher being and a higher consciousness that has a divine purpose for all of us. And I would say that we should actually tune into that and try and find out what we really love doing, like Simi says. Sorry.
All right.
Simi says here, give a great example of it. I was made to feel like I should have been this because of how I was conditioned to make my parents happy. But actually, I love being creative. I love being a fashion photographer. This is my passion. This makes me happy. So often in life, especially as young people, we grow up trying to make our parents happy, trying to make society happy, when actually what we should be doing is making ourselves happy, because mental health is almost an epidemic, and it's a lot to do with how we've been conditioned as children to follow certain paths and we're not doing what we love. One of the main reasons why people fall into depression is because they don't do what they love. And when you don't do what you love, you're chained to mediocrity, which causes low mood, which creates a sense of unfulfillment in life. And I think it's so important, like Simi says here, to follow your dreams, whether you come from a particular culture, a particular background, disadvantage, privilege, whatever it may be. As women here today, I hope that you all take from this podcast that, as Simi gives an example of, she comes from a certain culture that has primed her to be a certain way, but she's breaking the cycle, which is phenomenal.
Would you say it's easy being a makeup artist in Leeds?
No.
Yeah, that's another issue. Like,
I feel like it's the worst thing.
With Leeds creatives as well, like, they're not really collaborative.
Elaborate, girl.
Elaborate on that. Nah, like, I feel like if you know an artist called Harrison Mead, he touched upon this as well. I just feel like Leeds creatives in general don't want to like collab. Like, I go to London a lot for work and Manchester, and they're more like wanting to collab on like a lot of stuff and like help each other like elevate and like bring each other up. But I feel like in Leeds, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't happen a lot.
So let's talk about this, right? I want to know what you guys' opinion is on the word collaboration. Does that mean, and this is your eyes, I don't actually know the technical terms, but would you say a collab is for free or collab is to be paid, or a bit of both?
Free.
I think it just depends, personally.
No, a collaboration is free.
Would you say
collaborate
free?
With the person, so they're giving their service and you're giving your service.
What would you say, Simi?
Well, because I'm in third year, I'm not really supposed to say collaboration. I'm supposed to say like working now. So kind of flop there. I don't know. Like, it depends on what you're doing though, because I feel like everyone should be paid because it's a lot of time. Like with what I do, like I don't just shoot. Like after that, I'm like in my room editing or like in a studio editing. Like there's so much to it than like being on set or like even makeup artists. Like they have to prep, stylists they have to prep, they have to go buy their clothes, they have to source their clothes. All that, it takes time, and I feel like people should get paid. Like I feel like even in the creative industry in itself, people don't get paid for it. Like even internships, they should be paid. Like they're using us as creatives, but people out there getting paid and some of them are not, which I think it's not fair.
But I think that is the hustle, like
I've
working in the creative industry for free, because obviously you want to make those connections, you want to meet new people and you want to network. But then I think the downside, and I've definitely had this so many times, I'll do something for free and then I come back feeling shit. So then you think, okay, so what did I actually get from this? Because if you haven't actually been paid and you haven't got any mental fulfillment, what have you actually done? And it's a hard thing to try and balance and to try and find. I don't know.
But I think with collaborating, it's actually, there's a lot of positives to it as well, because, for example, we're here today, the girls, but all the women that have come here today to listen to the podcast and to be in the audience, it's self-promotion, because you're promoting what you do, which off the back of it you will be paid for. I think in anything, whether it's the creative world, whether it's whatever industry you want to get further in, you have to put yourself out there, and sometimes you have to do things for free. And whether the other person's benefiting or not, even though it may be your time, it's time well spent, because if you can promote yourself in that and you can get new networks from that and meet new people, that's going to further you in your career. I think if someone keeps asking you over and over again to do something for free, then it becomes an issue. But I think it's like, when I said it depends, what I meant is it's weighing up whether it's giving back as a service. That's different, because you're helping a lot of people, and if you have the time, do it. And also it's good to ask yourself the question of, what am I gaining from it? Is this going to benefit me in the long run? Because time is precious, you know, and we all have a certain amount of time in the day. But if it's going to benefit you further, I think it's good to do it. And if it's giving service and helping other people, I think that's a good way to give back for free as well.
Speaking of time, how easy do you guys find it to clock off? Not that easy, no?
No. For me, no.
See, I actually now have my notifications off on like everything. I think maybe just messages, and sometimes I even have them off. It's only like my favorites list I have, because I feel like definitely Instagram, if you have your notifications on, you can be.
No, I have them off.
Do you guys check your screen time and stuff?
No.
I
don't really check mine.
I don't have any social media notifications on. So only if I go onto it, I'll see. I don't. And on a night time, I put my phone on flight mode, and I wake up around 4:30 a.m. I meditate, and after I've meditated, that's when I'll turn off flight mode. I think the first hour of your day is so important. It's like the golden hour of the day, and if you can get that right, the rest of your day, you're so focused, you're so much more poised, and you can make better decisions, because they say on average, we think over 60,000 thoughts a day, and we only make a certain amount of sound decisions a day. So if you can try and minimize those thoughts by clearing your mind in the morning, the decisions you make through the day will be a lot more sound and a lot more rational.
See, we spoke about this when we met, and I actually tried, not 4:30, that is like way too early for me. But I've been trying to get up at 6 every morning, and every Monday, like legit, I'm up at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
But when it gets either later on in the week, I can't do it. And I know you shouldn't say that because you're putting it out there, but I really, really try to get up at 6. But I'm so tired. I don't know if that's obviously because I've had a baby, but I'm struggling to get into the routine.
What time are you going to bed?
10 o'clock, latest. I'm in bed by 9 o'clock. I'm a very tired person.
I think anything takes time to become accustomed to it. The more you did it, the more you'd find it easier to do. In the beginning, I was exhausted. I'd fall asleep meditating, but I knew it was something that would benefit me. So I invested in myself. And if you keep doing it over a period of time, your body will become used to it.
But then on the flip side of that, as obviously a fashion photographer and a makeup artist, you could obviously have a shoot at stupid o'clock at night. So how does your sleep pattern work with that?
Oh, to be honest, I don't even have a sleeping pattern. Like, I'm up to like 3 a.m. sometimes editing. Like,
Really?
yeah, like London Fashion Week. Like, as soon as I've done like my shows, I'm there like editing because the demand for the photos are like so high. So they want it like the next day, so then they can post it on their websites, on their social media. So, yeah. I
So
don't really
how
have
does
a
that
sleeping
work
pattern.
with your mental health?
I don't know. I try to be positive because like, but I am very tired sometimes. Like it does affect a lot. Like sometimes I'm like moody and I'm just like don't want to do anything. Like you have like those creative blocks as well.
Yes.
And I've been having a lot of them lately. Like I haven't even started my final project yet because I'm just like trying to like get myself back on it because I don't feel like I can create something if I'm not mentally.
You don't want to force
Do you
it,
know
do
what
you?
I mean? If I'm not there,
Yeah, a little tip with creative blocks I do with my clients who are mind coach. It's really important, like I said, to clear your mind. If you clear your mind, you're able to see more clearly, and the creative part of you is able to spark again. If you're consumed, overthinking, exhausting yourself, the part of you that's rational and sound and that brings it out in you, and when you make those great decisions, it's not, you're blocking it from happening because you're so exhausted. Even just I say everybody should have at least an hour a day where they take time for them. And then when you have that time to clear your mind and reduce the thoughts, then the thoughts you do think are much more rational. Because when you're exhausted, your brain goes into fight or flight, which what happens is the front part of your brain where your rational mind is, it's sacrificed and all the blood flow leaves and travels to the back part of your brain, which is your emotional brain. And when you act from emotion, you can't act from your rational mind in the same way. So when you're acting from emotion, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, or I can't think and it's upsetting me. You're unable to use the part of your mind that is creative. But meditating, getting yourself back calm into that rational mind, you'll be able to deal with the creative blocks.
I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
When I have a creative block, I'm like, I do clock off, but then it is hard to get it back round. So if there is obviously a way to change it.
Meditation's really good with that,
I struggle with meditation, to be honest. Do you guys meditate?
No.
Have you ever tried to meditate?
Once.
How did you find it?
Just didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Did you just shut your eyes?
I was like, and then, just not for me.
Are you into crystals?
No.
I am. Wait, I will.
I believe in God.
So Matchuela did my
pray to
makeup.
God.
Matchuela did my makeup this morning, and my son was there, obviously, my little baby. And we got into the conversation because it's a full moon tomorrow, is it, or midnight? Whenever it's on the 9th. And Matchuela was like, okay.
What now?
Okay. And I was like, yeah, so Miley's moon is in Aries and blah, blah, blah. And she was literally like, okay. But, I guess you can't force everyone to be spiritual and into astrology and all of that. Anyway, I've gone on a tangent now. But when you have these creative blocks, or just in general, actually, how do you find saying no? And this is in regards to, like, I guess, valuing yourself, your work trade, and your mental health. Everyone always wants something from you, and I think it was quite intriguing when you said, obviously, the turnaround for pictures. That is crazy, and I get that you probably can't say no to those types of people. But do you guys struggle in general to say? I know you don't. Matchuela, I mean, I struggle, but this is why I wanted Matchuela on here. I know she's been very quiet right now, but Matchuela is someone who's shown me how to value myself. Even this event, Matchuela was one of the brains behind it, again, from valuing myself. But if you don't have people like Matchuela, how do you find valuing yourself and learning to say no to people, or do you do it at all?
Well, I've started to say no a lot because I'm in my last year, so I need to prioritise like what's more important for me and what I'll benefit from. So like in first and second year, I think I was struggling a lot to say no. But now, because I've realised what I'm more passionate about and what I'm trying to get into, like saying no sometimes, it's good to say no sometimes,
What made you change and begin to think, I want to start saying no?
I think because of my workload, like I was just like, I couldn't hack it. So I was
Your priorities, really.
So I needed to set my priorities straight, so
But how do you think you'd be then once uni's over? Like, do you think you'll know what your priorities are and aren't?
Yeah, I think I would know now because I've got to clear my mind now. So I've learned from my mistakes because everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
So,
I think with saying no, it's difficult. For some people, it may not be. But for some people, it can be very difficult. And it's a lot to do with our primitive brains. So basically, when we was hunter-gatherers hundreds and hundreds of years ago, if you was rejected from your tribe, you'd die because you depended on each other in that tribe to hunt and get food and to survive. So because we have primitive brains, our brains have mechanisms that prioritise certain things, for example, like fear to protect your environment. But another thing is the fear of rejection. If any of you have ever wondered, why do I fear rejection? It's because we have primitive brains from, hundreds and hundreds of years back. We strive to be a part of something, because if we was rejected, we'd die. We'd be shunned from our tribe and we'd die because we depend on each other, as I said. This is why some people struggle with it. I think saying no is difficult because, again, you fear, they won't like me if I say no. Or,
that's how I feel.
Yeah, they'll judge me if I say no. Oprah Winfrey talks about this.
I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I think when I'm a very caring and I'm quite an empath person, and I remember watching Oprah Winfrey, and she said, for many years I struggled to not say no because it was charities asking me. And I felt bad.
It was what? Charity?
Yeah, charities.
Right, okay.
So Oprah Winfrey would say, charities would ask me to give money. And because I had so much money, I felt like I had to give, because what would they think if I didn't? And this is Oprah Winfrey, who's one of the most famous persons in the world for motivation, transformation and success. And she says, I struggled, but in the end, I realised that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. I need to overcome that fear of rejection, because once I understand that, I know why I'm doing it, I know where my integrity is, I don't care what anybody else thinks. That's how she overcame it. So I think it's important to be caring and give when you want to give, but also, like you say no when it's going to impact your well-being, or you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You don't want to, just
that's a good point, because I think a lot of people will say yeah, but actually
they don't want to.
No. It's not going to benefit their mental health, but they'll still do it just to benefit the other person. I do it myself, and I don't know why I do it. I don't know. Okay. Go on, you give us a little insight, girl.
Why you would care.
How do you find it so easy to say no? Let's flip it.
They don't pay my bills, so why would I care?
True.
But do you ever feel bad?
No. Just get my phone. I'm like, no, thank you.
Okay.
I feel like you can't let things get to you at all. I feel like if you're a strong person and what your worth is, there's no issue with you saying no.
Would you say you've always been this strong though?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
If it's a no, it's a no. That's it.
What advice would you give people then? Well, what advice did you give me, I guess? You come down hard. Yeah, you do.
Just to fix up, because I just don't understand how you can let these things affect you. Honestly, how can you care so much about someone else's opinion? If you're saying no, you're saying no. I
find it easier said than done.
It's not. You
Yeah,
just
I
get
think
your
it's
phone,
easier said than
pull up the
done.
keyboard, and you type N-O.
Do you know that's the thing? I've messaged someone or draft message someone just to say no. I won't even send it. I'll go and see them, prep myself to say no, and I'll be like, okay, I'll do it. And then I'll leave and I'll ring Lorenz and be like, Lorenz, I can't believe I've just done this. And then obviously get cussed. But I do it every single time. I'm really trying now not to, but it's like a repetitive, vicious cycle.
Esther, a good way to look at it is what I speak to people about in the company I work in. And I say, imagine you have a cup, and what's in the cup is for you, and what overflows from the cup is for everybody else. But if you're sacrificing what's in the cup, that means that you're sacrificing your well-being and yourself. That means that's when you want to say no, but you say yes. And you have to imagine in these moments, is my cup full now? And is what I'm going to give to them just an overflow? Because that's fine. That's not going to affect my well-being. If I really don't want to do it and it's sacrificing my cup and making me vulnerable, I need to protect myself. Imagine being on an aeroplane. When you go into an aeroplane and the air hostess says, right, put your air mask on and then put your child's on after in a case of emergencies. The reason why they do this is because if you're not right, how can you help your child to get their air mask on?
Yeah.
And that's the principle with this. If you want to say no because it's going to affect you affect your well-being, think of it as, okay, well, I can't help you in the way you want me to help you anyway, because I'm not right. That's going to affect me by helping you. It's going to make me not happy. So actually, by me saying no, I'm protecting my well-being, but I'm helping you anyway, because I can't give you what you want from me anyway.
But I guess if you put that like in a creative aspect,
Yeah.
I guess if you say no, especially if you're from the north, because like you said, people already, myself included, feel like there's not a huge support system. How, if you say no, people are going to think you're not supporting like other people's waves and stuff like that. So where is the balance?
No, they won't. People will be like, oh, wow, she knows herself, she knows her worth. I feel that's what people will be like.
Do you would you say, though, I'm not in the creative world, so I wouldn't know, but you guys would know, if you were to just say no because you don't want to do it, is that not if it's not going to affect your well-being, it's just a no because, you just don't feel like doing it that day or whatever it may be, would that not hold you back from networking with people and progressing further?
No.
I feel like you can network anywhere.
Yeah.
Like going to events, you can network there. Like even when you're on shoots or like you're on shoots, we network all the time. Like saying no one time, like I feel like you can, I don't know.
It doesn't really matter.
So, yeah, like I feel like if you know why you're saying no, like you can just suggest other people maybe.
Yeah.
So like
that's
if I
a good
say no,
point.
I can be like, I know another photographer or another stylist that can help you. Like I feel like because I know a lot of people in the industry, I could help people out like that. So I feel like when I say no, it doesn't really affect me much because I can help them anyways and suggest other people, like even for makeup artists. I'm sure you got friends that are other makeup artists as well, so you could suggest them.
All right, fair enough. So let's be realistic about creating a career of your own in the north, because obviously we have 3 completely different women here. How easy or hard have you found it in your own individual industry?
I think here in Leeds, it's really hard just because people don't respect your creativity as much. I feel like they don't really care. Whereas when you're in London, everyone's bothered about it. It's like, it's a big thing, do you know what I mean?
Why do you think that is so?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know either.
Would you feel the same?
Yeah, this is what I mean. I don't know the energy here.
Girl.
I don't
Where
know.
are you guys all from the north? You're all from Leeds?
I don't know the answers for this one, so...
Girl, I do not know.
What about you, Molly?
I've found the opposite, personally. Because what I do, it's not necessarily... some of the work I do for No Limit is creative, but I've found in what I do, in Wellbeing, people want to help each other massively. People want to be a part of promoting well-being and mental health. So the work that I do, the events that I do, people always promote my events. They repost my flyers a lot. They tell their friends to come. Sometimes they'll be like, come on, you'll really enjoy it, just to get them there to see what it's about. I feel like, I can't speak on the creative side, but in terms of well-being, I think it's getting better. In the north, I think it's great how many people support what you do.
Would you say that's because, obviously one of the reasons, because so many people want to fix their mental health?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think mental health is definitely almost an epidemic. They say it's 1 in 4 people suffer with mental health in any given moment, but I definitely think it's more like 1 in 2. From the people who I speak to, coach, just seeing the things on social media with like Caroline Flack recently who took her own life, it just goes to show that whether you have all the money in the world, whether you're the most beautifulest person in the world, regardless of what you have, you can still be in the darkest of places, and a lot of people don't show it. A lot of people suffer in silence.
I think a lot of people don't realise they've actually got it. I think unless you speak to other people or you see the signs, because there might be like the standard signs of depression.
I think we all have mental health though, because even worrying's mental health. Yeah. Thinking about the future, a future reality that hasn't come to pass, surely that's a form of mental health, because it's not come yet. But you're in the present, that the only moment that matters, the only time we have is now. But we're worrying about a time that hasn't come to pass, which we're stealing this moment, which is the only moment you're present, which is the only moment you're real. So I think we all have mental health to an extent. So I think because of that, people support well-being a lot more. But I can see why in the creative world, maybe people are competitive and that they want to be the one that's going to succeed.
In Leeds, it's like there's only space for one person in this category, one person
Do you
in this
think?
category, one person in that category. That's how I feel like it is. And I feel like in London, because it's so big, people don't care because they're like, oh, well, they're not bothered.
So how do we change this, guys?
How do we change this?
I personally would say, just in general, in helping each other, I think you make a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you give. And if you give and help and share and work together and build each other up, you're only going to reap the rewards from it, because the third law of motion says for every action there will always be an equal and opposite reaction. And that's just physics. It's quantum physics. So whatever you put out in the universe based on quantum physics, it's going to come back. There's no doubt about it. Whatever you give out is going to come back. It proves karma, but it's actually science. So you can't participate in the cause and not expect to participate in the effect. So if you give and you build each other up and you promote each other's businesses and the creativity in other people and you promote that, that will come back to you in ways in which you probably couldn't even imagine. But if you're holding people back, like you guys said, sometimes you feel you hold back people, don't embrace you and promote you, that's only going to come back, because again, you can't participate in the cause and not expect to not participate in the effect. So I think just understanding how giving and sharing and promoting will only benefit you anyway. And don't see it as a race, you know.
That's a very important thing. That's actually what I learned with Female Magic last year. I felt like everyone, obviously online, everyone looks like they're always doing something. So I was like, okay, I need to get this out now and do this now. And I had all these dates and I stuck to them. But when I look back, I feel like my work is really, really bad.
It's never a good no.
Yeah.
And the time you take to look back to see where other people are in the race, you lose your place. So you have to just stay focused, see where you're going. Don't see it as you being competitive. See it as, this is my passion. This is my dream. This is what I do. I'm going to pursue it. I'm going to just head forward. And anybody who's around me doing similar things, well, good, because you're only helping people. How can I help you help people more? Again, the time it takes to look left or right or backwards to see where other people are in the field you're in, you lose your place. But if you just stay focused, then it's only benefiting you. And again, those around you, because you can help them and inspire them to be better as well.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I feel like when us creators, I feel like I compare myself to a lot of people, because like there's loads of photographers out there, there's loads of stylists out there. So what makes you different? Like, do you know what I mean? What do you bring to the industry?
But imagine if J.K. Rowling said that when she was a single parent in a council flat and she was wanting to write a book, and she looked at all these authors like Stephen King that wrote these amazing books, and she let that get to her. There'd never be Harry Potter. And she's one of the highest grossing book sales in the world. She's a phenomenal woman. You have to just, like I say, just don't look left or right to me, because you're phenomenal, you're amazing in you. And if you focus on where you're going, in time to come, you may inspire people who you would have never thought you'd inspire. The people who you look up to now may one day turn around and be like, I want to work with Simi.
Yeah.
But it's definitely easy to fall off.
Yeah,
Definitely easy to fall off. I guess it's easier said than done.
Yeah,
Again, like with everything, but it's mind over matter.
It's mindset,
and it's how you control your mind. Like for me, I have definitely jumped on a lot of different trends just to try and be on top.
Yeah, you said that when we were speaking, didn't
but
you?
whereas now I've tried to make Female Magic as like a community thing, where obviously every single woman's voice does matter, and every single woman can bring an insight or knowledge into another woman's life that can always help someone else. But it's hard to try and find what your uniqueness is. And I think a lot of us do try and look for our uniqueness outwardly rather than just looking inside ourselves and asking, okay, what am I actually good at? You don't know what you're good at straight away. Okay, how do I figure that out? And it's those steps to find out who you actually are, rather than, again, looking on social media and be like, okay, well, I guess I'm a bit like this girl. I have a little bit of that girl. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of us do that, and we get influence of other people than actually just taking time to figure out who we are and what we like. And I think it's hard to be ourselves when, or if ourselves aren't out there, if that makes sense. Like if we are very unique, it's easy to be worried that it's not going to be accepted. Have you guys ever felt like that? I guess it's different with makeup. Like, how does it work with makeup? Obviously, you're a good makeup artist, but how do you stand out and ensure you have like a signature look or?
I don't know. It's a bit different with makeup. It's not really like that. It's like.
Well, I've worked with makeup artists. I feel like the energy when they bring it on set, and like if you vibe with someone like on set, you'll book them. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like probably your portfolio who you worked with, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Personality is a big thing because you don't want
Massively
some moody person doing your makeup before you do something.
I think it's so important how you come across. I think how you come across and how you present yourself is so important in life.
Well, it's energies, isn't
Yeah.
it? If you have a bad energy or a bad aura, you're not going to want to be
No,
around
I
that
agree.
person.
Like Simi said, you wouldn't book a makeup artist if they didn't have a good vibe or there was negative. You're not going to want to be around people like that because there's a saying, if you're in a room with 9 negative people, you will become the 10th.
Yeah.
So people naturally try and avoid that, So I think how you present yourself, and I don't mean be somebody else, I just mean you be true to who you are.
You are, yeah. No, exactly right. Well, it's nearly the end of the
That's
talk.
gone so fast.
Have you guys enjoyed it? You can talk loud, by the way. Has anyone got any questions about anything?
Sorry, sunlight.
With all of you guys being in the creative industry or with mindset, do you feel like growing in your own career, have you lost friends that you thought were close ones on the way, and how have you dealt with that?
Well, I was actually friends with this makeup artist who's really big right now, and when we was friends, she used to bring me in with like good clientele and like bigger people from London. And then when we stopped talking, she kind of like gave me a bad name in London.
Wow.
Yeah, which was really annoying. But then I was able to like flip it back. But it really hurt at the time, and I feel like I went through a phase where I just stopped posting because people would compare us a lot because our style of makeup was the same. Like if you see my work, you see her work, you'd think it's the same person doing it. So yeah, it proper got to me, but just get over it.
I feel like you just know when you grow in this industry, you know who your real ones are.
Yeah.
Like you can do all these big bits, you can do anything, but like you just know who your real ones are. Like I've learned a lot. Like I've lost a lot of friends in this industry, but the main ones will be the ones that support you from day one. Like when you was right down at the bottom. Do you know what I'm saying? Like doesn't matter what I do, I know who my real ones are because they're always there with me. So I feel just one of them ones.
And I would say, for me, in what I do, because I'm so busy and I'm constantly doing different things, I think sometimes with friendships, you can become distant, not intentionally, because you're so focused. And with my friendships, I have amazing, phenomenal friends. I'm so lucky. But in the beginning, when I began working on what I wanted to do, building my business, and I'd stay up till 3 a.m. I was up first thing. I was just constantly researching, constantly isolating myself because I knew I was building something, but I didn't tell anybody. So my friends were affected by it negatively, and they didn't understand like what was happening. And I think sometimes when you're focusing on something and you're trying to grow something, your business, whatever it may be, sometimes your friends unintentionally can think something's not right or we're distancing. But I'm so blessed because once I explain to my friends what I'm doing, what I'm working on, they have been my most phenomenal support system ever. And I think sometimes you will lose friends along the way, but what's for you in life would never pass you. And if they've passed you, it's because they've meant to pass you. Sometimes we naturally outgrow people, and sometimes you grow with people. I'm just lucky that all my friends have grew with me. But I think sometimes for you guys, you've probably just been growing and you've naturally outgrown people. And it's not that you're better than them. It's that they're on a different course in their life, which doesn't serve a place on yours. And I think sometimes that happens naturally.
But I think on the flip side of that, when you are building yourself up, you can definitely find new fake friends on the way.
Definitely.
And it's people who
want to benefit from you.
and I think that's something obviously to like be aware of, even though you might be losing friends, making friends, or just being better friends with other people. It's like when you get to a certain point, it might not even be that big in your eyes. You'll definitely see people trying to jump on. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's hard to figure out those types of people because obviously they'll smile in your face.
You just have to be very careful, I think. You just have to be very careful.
Because you can feel like you're naive by it, but why would you think people wouldn't have your best intentions? It's a scary one, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Does anyone have any more questions? Yes. Oh, sorry.
How do you find your calling? Many of us have got women of many talents. There's like quite a few creative paths that we can probably take. But then which one do you know is the one that you're supposed to do?
Well, yeah.
And hopefully get money from it.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's an amazing question. I'm so happy you asked it because it's something I wanted to speak about. I think so many people ask me, but Molly, how do I find my purpose? Because when I speak to you, it's like you're in this moment and you know all this stuff, and how do you know it all and how are you so passionate? And I say it's because I found my purpose in life. And I think the way you find it is, if I said to you, what's your name, sorry? Nadia, if I said to you, Nadia, you are a multi-millionaire and you have everything you could ever ask for, and you could do one thing for the rest of your life for free, because you have money, you're financially stable, what would you do? Yeah, but this is the thing. But that's the question. No, I didn't expect an answer. The reason why I asked you that is because that's what you have to ask yourself. What am I meant to do in life? Okay, so if money wasn't an option, what would I do? For me, I would speak. I would inspire people. I would help people to understand their minds so they can become everything they're meant to be, so they can prevent themselves from anxiety, depression, mental health, so it never leads to them taking their life. For me, I'm so driven by it that I would do it for free for the rest of my life until the day I die. And I know I found my calling and my purpose because I feel like I'm guided by a higher being, whether it's God, the universe, whoever you call it. I feel like someone works through me. And I think we all have this divine calling. And the way you find it is, well, what would I do for free? And what am I good at? If I can mix those two together, I think we're always, and you mentioned how can we be paid for it, we will always be paid in direct proportion to three things: how good you are at something, how irreplaceable you are, and I forgot the third thing. It's three things. I forgot the third one. No, so you'll always be paid in direct proportion for free. You will always be paid. That's it, Aoife. This is one of my best friends. Yeah. So how good you are at something, how irreplaceable you are, and whether you're solving a problem. So if you can solve a problem, if you're solving someone's problem, you're really good at it and you're irreplaceable. Those three things together are a magic potion, because if you have those things, if you're helping people solving, even if it's music, if you're a musician and the music you listen to is something a woman listens to when they're heartbroken, they say, I love that song, this is helping me through this. You know, music is music is a form of therapy. So if you're a musician and you write music, if you write music that's helping people solving problems, you're a really good singer, you're phenomenal, and you're becoming irreplaceable at that, then people will want you, people will pay for you. So you can get paid from it by making yourself irreplaceable, doing something you really love and being really good at it. That's what I would say. So what would you do for free and what you're good at? And then use that and then make yourself irreplaceable in that field.
But I think that's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, what if you think you're good at something and you're actually not? Not to say you wouldn't be, but do you know what I mean? Like, what if what you think you are or what you think your calling isn't? And I think that's what I found, because you might think, oh no, this is it. Yeah. This is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to get the money. And then it all goes tits up, you know?
But you have to keep going at the same time. Sometimes we fall and we have to get back up. When Edison was creating the light bulb, it took him 10,000 times to master it. If he would have given up on the 9,999 attempt at creating the light bulb, we wouldn't be sat here with lights. He could have said, but I've failed, I haven't created the light bulb, I can't afford to pay the people in the factory anymore to help me. Tesla was someone who worked alongside. I can't afford to pay these people. I'm going to give up. But it was his passion, it was his dream. And now we're sat here in lights.
With a cute hello sign.
Yeah, but the biggest people in the world, the biggest inventors, and they changed the world. If Beyonce gave up before she even started, she'd never be Beyonce. Sometimes we're going to fail. And it's so important in business. Whatever you're doing in life, you are going to fail. Business is difficult. Whatever you do, even being a mum's not easy. Sometimes being a parent, we can think we're bad mums because we're not being the perfect mum, but nobody gives you a manual and says, oh, this is how to be a mum.
I was saying it to Matchuela
Yeah.
this morning. I felt like I'm so busy. I feel like a bad mum. And she was like, no, you're doing good, but you can definitely judge yourself. And our minds are our biggest enemies, because before anyone else judges us, we will judge ourselves.
That's what I speak about a lot. We have to make praise familiar. Matchuela, in the beginning when you were speaking, I can't remember what you said, but you said something.
She's just a makeup artist.
You sold yourself for short, and I was like, no, but you're amazing. This is what we do.
I sell myself all the time.
Yeah, but we shouldn't do it. But it's so important because, the most important words we will ever say are the words we say to ourselves. Because it's the words we say to ourselves that we internalise. If someone said to me now, Molly, you look absolutely awful, I would only internalise that and be emotionally affected by it if I believed it. If I said, well, I'm going to give that back to you, because that's for you, not for me, because I don't believe that. I'm not affected by it. Yeah, it's true, but it's so true. But we have to make praise familiar, because you are phenomenal. And you should say, well, actually, I love myself, because it's not that you're selfish and being vain. It's like you're self-full. No, I love myself.
Yeah, no, I agree. Any other questions? Do you have a question? Oh, sorry, yeah.
I just wanted to go back to the point about competition, especially for you two.
Yeah.
And Estelle, obviously you said you agree. I know Leeds, it's got that stereotype of we don't support each other. For people like myself and Katie being like musicians,
Yeah.
obviously we support each other. We're both female artists. So what would you do, like moving forward, to not fall into that stereotype that Leeds is just unsupportive, and what would you do moving forward?
I feel like with what I do, I feel like if I could get there, like put on events more like similar to this, so like to bring more Leeds creatives here. Come on, we've got the concept. So like, with me, like, because I do photography and styling, and obviously I highlight makeup artists and styles. We all could maybe, like, our next step after this, we could all sort somewhere out, like the next Leeds creative. Come on, like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe like just do that, and like obviously you two as rappers or singers, you're obviously in the creative industry as well, because it's not just about fashion or makeup, it's music and like all of your like stuff as well. I'm not really that like in depth with music and that, but I feel like just maybe like even using our social medias to hype each other up, like sharing a story actually does a lot, like on your Instagram, like it actually builds up on your profile views, and I feel like if we can do that maybe more, and like I think something like that.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing as well,
I think, like you said, you and Katie are both singers and you are completely different. I think that's what's obviously important to remember. Even if you were sat next to a photographer, just because you're both photographers, it doesn't mean that there should be any competition. There should be no real level of it, because even though you're both photographers or you're both singers, you're completely different. So why should there be a competition? You can see the benefits from both sides, and I guess create something special from there. Just like you said, just big everyone up, big each other up, and not try and bring people down because you feel threatened by them. And if people are threatened by you, then they're probably not the right people to be around. Any other questions? Ooh, I like that one.
Nope.
Yeah, same.
Because probably looks shit. So
Yeah, same. No.
I don't know if I take it personally. I think it really depends on the individual. Continuously do stuff and they continuously don't support, then okay, yeah, maybe that's a problem. Do you bring it up though? Do you think?
Really?
I don't know if I'd. Yeah. Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like everyone's
fake ass
individually
bitch.
different.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think it
Well,
depends on the person.
Yeah.
I forgot your question
Don't
now.
know.
What was your question? I feel like I went on a tangent.
I was like, whoa.
Oh, okay.
Friends.
Just a little.
It'd be like a niggle, wouldn't it?
What? So the question was, if your friend what?
Does it
Girl.
support you? Would you take it personal?
Since part.
Yeah.
It depends, though, innit? Like how close the friend is. Like,
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
my friends, I class them as family.
That's
Like
it.
I class my friends and my friends as my family. So it just depends on the person.
Do you know, I think it's important, like mentally, whether you expect it or not. If you expect your friends to support you, then you're going to take it personal if they don't support you. But if you don't expect anything from your people or your peers and then they do it, it's like, oh, that's nice. If they don't do it, then okay, cool, they didn't do it. So I think that's probably the best way.
I think
to think
sometimes as well,
about it.
people don't understand the importance of supporting each other. It depends on what you do. If you just work a normal 9 to 5 and your friend starts this business and she's putting up things about it, you might not understand the power of promotion. So it's like, oh, if I repost it, oh, but you only got to a few friends. Sometimes you don't understand the field that someone's working in. Oh, if I post her music video, then that means, oh, if I post her makeup, then some people just don't get it. You know, they don't take the time to think, well, maybe I need to do this because it'll help them.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we shouldn't take things too personally because the way they view it isn't the way we're viewing it. Sometimes we view it as, you're doing this, which is really offending me. Are you envious of me? Do you not want me to do well? But actually, it could just be that they haven't thought of it in that way. Maybe
Yeah.
they need a nudge and say, oh, would you post this for me? I think so often we don't ask people to do things because we think, oh, I don't want to be seen as I'm asking everybody to post my stuff. But I see it as, well, what do you have to lose? You're only going to promote yourself, mods, go for it.
Amen. Do we have any more questions? Yeah.
So how do you learn to trust your instincts when you're trying to find like the right creative vision or work effect that you want to set out? I find, for example, that I'll have like a strong instinct and I'll like want to do something and then I'll get some advice. So it's good to like consult with people, right? And then some people say something will put me off and I'll be like, oh. But how do you balance taking on good, constructive, helpful advice without sort of trusting your instinct at the same time without sort of dismissing it? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'd say I low-key wing it. I think that's a good thing to do, well, in my eyes, because then, yeah, I don't know, I say I low-key wing it.
I would say, what's your name, sorry? Okay, it's Fatima, did you say? Fatima. It's a good question, Fatima, because it's difficult when someone's giving you advice and you want to accept it, but something inside of you is telling you something different. And you have to remember, sometimes when we get advice from people, be mindful who the advice is from. If you're getting advice from someone who's in your field or is doing what you want to do, then that's different. But if you're getting advice from someone who doesn't really understand what you're wanting to do, they may give you an opinion on it, which isn't actually valid for you because it's how they view it and they don't understand it. Is that something you do? So when you're saying you ask people and they put you off, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I always have like this different ideas.
Yeah.
I think that'd be amazing. I'll get really excited and then I'll maybe like ask a family member or
Yeah.
somebody or a friend and then they'll be like, yeah, that's good, but you thought about
Yeah. I just go for it.
Yeah, I
And
would
that's
say
my honest opinion because I did a law degree. I didn't do anything to do with mindset. And I was meant to be a lawyer, but something inside of me said, this is not me. And it would have looked good. I would have sounded, oh, I'm a barrister or a sister. It sounds great, but it didn't. Life pushes until vision pulls. A vision pulled me. And I think when a vision pulls you, you have to go with it and follow your instincts because the Wright brothers who invented the aeroplanes, if they would have said to people, I want to put metal in the sky and make people fly, what would their friends have said to them? They would have said,
Bonkers.
oh, don't be silly, don't do that, it's stupid.
Yeah.
You know, but they said, no, we're going to do this. And now we fly around the world. Marconi, when Marconi said, I know how to send signals through the sky, his family had him sectioned and medically examined, and Marconi went on to create the radio. We would not be sat here today if it wasn't for Marconi. He didn't listen. You have to listen to he didn't listen to other people. He listened to his inner voice. If life's pushing, but then the vision's pulling, be pulled by the vision. Do you know if you fail, it's probably meant to be a part of your journey to develop better, because we can learn. Success leaves clues. If you fail, then you might have learned from it and keep learning and learning. But I would say, look at people who do what you want to do. If something's pulling you, vision's pulling you, look at all the people that are doing what you want to do. And success leaves clues. Look for the success, what they're doing well, and mix it all together and just go for it. Because what do you have to lose? And if you do have things to lose, then weigh it up and find ways to cushion yourself in case you do lose it. For example, financially, have a bit saved just in case. But my opinion is, go for it, because we're only here once, and there's no coincidence that sperm met that egg and you was created. We're meant to be here to be creative and to live and to nourish and thrive. We're part of nature, and nature's constantly thriving and growing and changing. When we're not growing, we're stagnant. We're not meant to be stagnant. So if something's pulling you, I would turn down the world, but turn up the inner you and just go for it. That's what I would say.
Love that. And
Come on.
that is actually the end of the podcast. Woo! I think that was a really, really nice way to end the podcast. Thank you, Molly, and thank you for your question. Yes, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.